This conference will now be recorded.
Hi. Okay. So welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Hi. Very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the first day of the session. So just there was a small confusion, so just took a little bit long time to start it. Okay, that's fine. So once again, we can. Yeah. So we're going to start with the first day, and so just getting started. Um, to start with, okay, so we are going to start our session this way. So first of all, we want, I think every one of you over here just try to, um, every one of you should have already been, into the demo session. And so probably you just understood, like, what we are actually going to do, right? So our course is designed in Amazon Web Services. We're going to deal with all the tools inside Amazon Web Services, as well as we're going to use, in parallel Amazon services also in parallel. So let's say server is a service. Of course, if you want a server, you have to use a service. Apart from that, let's say if I let's say you talk a database kind of thing. So if you um, if you so have some database kind of thing, so you can use a service directly rather than you install the database and kind of thing. So that's how you can go for we'll talk about the servers, setting up the things manually, and after that uh, we are going to so talk about how do we use a service as well, but starts with everything as a server. So we need servers, every tool we want to install in a server and we want to use it. But the problem over here is um, everything. Okay, so so everything, if you want to host in your local environment, so why not local environment? First question, why not local environment? So there are two answers for that. Your local desktops cannot suffice your server requirements. So that means the tools which we are going to use in later are going to be very, very big tools. So that means you require more amount of RAM and CPU, so which our laptops cannot suffocate. Okay, so that is one answer. And the second answer is you're learning Amazon. Let's learn in Amazon only. So this is what the general two questions I usually get. Okay, so why not local environment? The simple answer is because the course is designed to learn about Amazon, and let's deal with Amazon only. Okay, so that's how we are going to go with. But Amazon is not for free of cost. You need to understand that as well. Amazon is not completely free. It is free to an extent, but it is not completely free. So how much we have to keep from our pocket to go with Amazon? And if you follow my best practices, you would never go more than $10. So that means some 700 rupees at max of cost. You would not go beyond to to so complete this particular course. So let me show my account basically. Okay, so let me just 1 second before let me show you my account. Yeah. So how much I'm paying? Okay, I'm dealing with 2 batches continuously, or in fact saying 3 batches. So but um, and as well as my some of my personal use as well. Okay, so this goes in my AWS account. But how much I'm paying in month? Let's see here. Okay. All right. So now let me show you, take you to the billing dashboard. I'll just go here and let me take to billing dashboard. I will come back to this particular dashboard, how to get it and everything. So this is the current month, almost closing to 10 days. I'm paying almost like 289 rupees. So probably from 1 week, I am not using for one batch. So that's okay. But let's go into the monthly bills. Left side, I have monthly bills. So this is September. And if I take you to the August, so how much I paid is, 1158 rupees, so hardly 1200 rupees, right? So that is what for the last month I have you paid. In July, so I paid 2600. So at max, basically, so I'm using, as I mentioned, so 3 batches plus plus for my personal use as well. Okay, anything, so testing out, or also I'll use my account only. So this is the max, but where the maximum amount went with, okay, so I did something which is okay. So this I forgot, actually there is a mistake actually which I did. So there was a long weekend, and so I forgot about deleting something, and it went for so 74 hours of running, which caused me this amount. Otherwise, so even closely or $10 I would have saved there. Okay, easily I would have saved $10. I'll not cross more than usually 2000, around 2000 only the bill will be. So you see this 1100. Let's go a little bit more even. So May 2019, so 1500, on average. Okay, so the amount what I'm telling you is 700, right? So even for you, so the 700 is for 2 months, and this is I'm running for 2 batches. And yeah, so that's how you have it. And okay, so you have to follow my best practices as well. Okay, I'll be giving you some hints. You have to follow those things in order to achieve this. Okay, so that also you have to keep in mind. All right. So first thing first, so we are going to use Amazon, and we have to spend some amount from our pocket. No other option. You're learning Amazon, you have to do that. No other option. That is first thing. And second thing is, okay, so you have to follow my best practices. If you just do that, you will not pay more than $10 at any cost, okay, to complete this particular course. But later on, for your practice, how much you practice, so that much you're going to pay to Amazon. All right, so that is what to start with. Now, first of all, every one of you need to create Amazon account. You have to create Amazon account in order to start using it. In order to use Amazon account, you should have a valid mobile number and a valid credit card or debit card. Okay, so this is what a minimum requirement we should be having. Okay, so here, so first thing, so how do you create your account? It's documented, everything inside one of the documentation, and I'm going to ping this particular one in the chat. So gitlab.com/ I'll give this particular URL. But is the URL correct? Let me correct it. Yeah, URL is wrong. So that's the reason it is asking for a login. So this is the URL. I'm going to put in the chat now to everyone. After the session also, we'll try to send you out an email as well with this particular link. But I just pinged on the chat. So please bookmark this URL, because the first 1 week of the session will be sticking with this particular URL only. Okay, so and here we have certain documentations which are needed for introduction to our course. Okay, so now here we need to create our account. Okay, so here you need to create an account by opening the following URL. Okay, so you have this, just open that, and you have aws.amazon.com. Okay, now just need to click on create AWS account. That's one thing. Okay, so click on that. It asks your email address, confirm password, and if you have any account name you want to give. So let's say my account name is Linux Automations. Okay, I just give my account name is Linux Automation, so that's how I get my account name as Linux Automations. But usually every account is going to get a unique account number that will be mapped with a name. Apart from that, there is no use. but it is your choice. I think I'm not sure whether it is optional or mandatory also. You can give it and just click on continue. So let me go and give a simple okay, so continue. And once after give that, it is going to ask for whether it is your professional account or personal account. I want to go for personal account only. I don't want to go for professional. And so the phone number you need to give your country, and as well as you need to give all the details correct. And once after you give correct, so just click on this and continue. Okay. So once after you try to continue, okay, so it asks for personal. Every screenshot is actually clearly given over here. All you need to do is you need to provide proper details. So in the next screen, you'll be prompted to provide your credit card details and as well as your PAN card number. So do select that you don't have PAN card. Okay, do select that you don't have any PAN card, and after that you need to provide you need to provide your credit card or debit card. So you need to have a valid one and you have to use it. And after that, the PAN card, you select it as no option, you see here. And after that, again, it is going to ask you if your account is validated. So that means account is validated in the sense your bank details are being validated. So then you are going to get then you're going to get it as so select the support, just select the support plan as basic, don't select any other plans. So only basic is for free of cost, so just do select basic. Okay, so and once you're done with that, so your account is created, and from now on you can access your account just by using console.aws.amazon.com to bookmark this particular URL as well. So every day for your practice, you're going to access this particular URL. Okay, so do bookmark this particular URL, or else if you remember, you can just type it. Okay, so console.aws.amazon.com. It asks for your email address, and you just seen how I logged in, right? So it might ask you some captcha, and after that you just give password. You should be able to log into Amazon. Okay, so which is fine. So once you log into Amazon, you're going to see a screen something like this. So this is the first screen which you are going to see. And out of this, so here on the right side top, so this is every day you open your account. So just go to your billing dashboard and see how much bill you're getting. So this is the first recommendation I'm giving from my side. Every day, every day you have to, um, you know, every day you have to open the billing dashboard and see how much bill you're getting billed. Okay, so and ensure that you are within the limits. If there is something wrong, so where it is going wrong, so on the right side it tells you so which service is actually costing you more. Okay, so that is going to tell. So for me, Route 53 is a service which is costing more, which is almost like $2. So that is what is costing more. After that, EC2, and after that some service. So which one went more? And you have to go into that particular service and you have to start cleaning up if you are not using anything. So that's one important thing. So every day of your login, come to billing dashboard and have a look into your bill. That's straightforward recommendation you have to do. Okay, so okay, that's fine. So if I just click on left side top AWS icon, it bring you back the so the list of services which Amazon has. These are all the list of services Amazon has, but we don't require all those things. Okay, so we don't require all those things because those are not our business related services. For an example, we can just see here um, IoT, Internet of Things. You have what technology. So IoT related services which are being given here. Okay, but we are not IoT guys to access these, right? And that's how Amazon offers so some gaming and even some desktop services, some services. Okay, so it just provide different services, and we do talk about the services which we do require for our requirement. Okay, so all the services which are related to DevOps will be covered over here. Okay, and which is listed in our syllabus, by the way, and which is fine. And out of this, first thing you have to you have to choose is a region. Amazon offers different regions. So AWS regions. So Amazon is going to have data centers in different locations. Okay, and they are going to, okay, so allow you to create your environment in any of the data centers. So let's say I'm sitting in Hyderabad. Okay, so I'm sitting in Hyderabad, and if my office major business is also based out of Hyderabad, then I'll choose any region which is near to Hyderabad. So somewhere in Mumbai we have a region. So I'll be choosing a region Mumbai. Okay, because so the transaction speed is going to be faster. Okay, so if I choose any server in somewhere in Australia or somewhere in USA, so then what it has to do, everything whatever I need it, so it has to travel back over the oceans, over the wire to USA, and it has to reach back the response. If my server is sitting in USA, if I'm communicating to that, so then the response, the length of the cable is always more. The length of the cable is more, ultimately the response is more. As simple as that. Okay, so that's how, okay, you need to think about that particular first perspective. So your Amazon region has to be your closest, uh, you know uh, closest to your office or wherever your business is more. It has to be closer to that particular region. But actually we are using a free account. Okay, we are using a free account. We cannot go for and say that, hey, I'm sitting in India, I want to use Mumbai region. No, it's not going to allow you. The free limits, see, you create a server, there is a free server which is available from Amazon. And as I mentioned, everything is not free from Amazon, but there are certain things which are free from Amazon. So what is the things which are free for Amazon is, let me go and show you. aws dot amazon.com/free. If I take you to the free, so then everything is not free, but certain things are free. So for an example, so there is a service called as EC2, which is for servers, Elastic Cloud Compute. And these servers, which is they are providing 750 hours is free. 750 hours is free. So that means 750 hours, if you put by 24, it comes around 31 something. So that means every month you can run one server, but there is a limitation as well even. So it is a T2 micro. So there is something called as they're mentioning, which is T2 micro. That is something like, so type of instance. Now let's say I want, a 100 GB server, 100 GB of 100 GB of RAM server if I want. So they'll not provide you that for free of cost. That is costly. They are going to give you a minimal server, that is a minimal server, and so that is for 1 CPU and 1 GB of RAM. That is what. Okay, so we'll try to complete most of our 50% of our requirements would be done in that 1 CPU, 1 GB of RAM. So that is fine. But other 50 part for using the tools to make them faster, to run them faster, we require a little bit higher server. For those hours, per hour we need to pay it, or per it is actually correct. It actually bills per minute actually, not even per hour. It is bills per minute. Okay, so that means this 750 hours you can use wisely. You can run 2 servers 15 days continuously, a total 750 hours, right? So every day, if I practice, let's say 2 servers, let's say assume, so that means 8 hours only I'll be using per day. If I practice for 4 hours, it is 8 hours. So 8 into again 30 days, so which is 240 hours only you are just consuming. So the remaining 500 hours is still free. Okay, got the point. So that's only the runtime of your server. So if you're not running the server, you stop the server, it is not going to calculate anything. So that is how the billing used to be. And that is what my second recommendation over here is. My first recommendation is log into the account and always look for the billing every day. Second thing is, if you're not using any services, either delete them if you don't want them, or stop them if you're not running them, if you don't want to run them. Okay, so that saves the bill as well. Two things. Okay, so 750 hours. So like that, every service has certain limitation, and if you are under limitation, you are not going to get billed. If you are crossing that number, and you're going to get billed. And whatever the billing dashboard you have seen, mine is been crossing the billing. Okay, it's crossing the billing, so, or crossing the limitation. So that's how I'm getting billing. Okay, so that's how okay, you need to keep in mind. But as a free account, so you cannot choose whatever the region you are looking for. Amazon will not allow you to create any region of your choice. So they're going to allow only 3 regions for free accounts. One is North Virginia, and the second one is Ohio and Oregon. So only these 3 regions are available for free accounts. So we have to choose one. We have to choose one. So I would be choosing actually, so even though the latency is more, so you're sitting in India, so suppose in US, so even though latency is more, you have to bear with that because you're using a free account. Okay, so no other option. So that's how. So I had to choose any of the one, North Virginia, Ohio, or Oregon. So but the guys who has Amazon account for 2 years old back, okay, you can create in any region, that is fine, they'll allow you. Even though as a free account, you can go ahead and ask them, okay, I want to create in this particular region. They'll enable your account to access in that particular region also. They're not going to stop you, and your free limitations are not going to stop you. But so why to go in that particular region? So let's use free regions, and these 3 regions are bigger in Amazon, and very faster in terms of performance as well. Okay, network performance, even some DNS related things. So it is faster in these in these regions, at least North Virginia and Ohio. So I usually choose only 2 regions for my batches, one batch for North Virginia and one batch for Ohio. So for this batch, so I choose to go for Ohio batch or Ohio region. Okay, so for this complete batch, I'm going to create my servers in Ohio region. Do not use any cross regions. So most of the people so do this particular mistake. So they use one region for once some time and come back to another region and start using this, and they forget about what the resources they created in another region, and it starts billing. End of the day, they end up paying more amount as well. Okay, so don't do that. So stick with one region. Whatever the region you want to choose one region and stick with that only. Okay, so yeah, so that's how we are going to, okay, so use one region in Amazon. And my personal preference is every one of you use your region for this particular batch. Once you are comfortable with that, once you are hands on anything, then you can go and play around where no one is stopping you, and you have to do that as well. But initially, once few people might be newer, and it's all about relates to money, and you're putting your credit card there is no auto detection. Okay, you can enable auto detection, but don't do that. Okay, don't enable auto detection. So I think my account, I have auto detection. I just go for my billing dashboard, payment methods. I'm lazy enough. Okay, so there is an option actually which is given here. You can see here. So recurring payments. Okay, so this don't enable that. Okay, if you enable it, so you're going to get deducted automatically from your card. Okay, so I'm okay with that because I know what is happening, and so that's, I'm fine with that. But don't try to do this. Okay, let it be let it you go and pay manually. Okay, so there is a question: what happens if I don't pay the bill? Your account going to deactivate after 10 days. Okay, so yeah, as simple as that. So yeah, so the region which you are going to use is Ohio. Okay, let's stick with Ohio region. All right, so now let's go here and follow the little bit more documentation what we have. And you have to choose a service which is called as EC2. Okay, the EC2 service is just give me 5 minutes. After that, if there is any questions, I'll try to take it. So let me try to put some basics for now. So you need to go to EC2. So the same document, so the same URL I pinged on the chat. So if someone has joined now, I'm putting it once again in the chat. All right. So please copy that particular URL I kept in the chat. Please copy that URL and bookmark, because for the next few days we are going to roam around that particular URL only. Okay, so we're going to deal with that URL itself. So the next thing over here is, once after you create your account, you have to, so by tomorrow, every one of you has to create your account. And second thing, okay, or one more thing, and the best practices of the session. So a person cannot do 2 things at the same time. Okay, so it's fundamental basically, right? So we probably certain things is fine, but certain things we cannot do 2 things in parallel, or at least certain new things which you're doing, you cannot do 2 things at the parallel. Okay, so probably you're very good at driving. You can sort of over mobile, So you can deal with those two things because you over the years of driving you're doing, you can handle that, no issues. But let's say if you're a new driver sitting in the car for the first day, okay, I don't think so you will be doing managing two things at the same time, right? So you're learning new things here. So my expectation are not my expectation, basically it's a general thing that you cannot do things at the same time when you're dealing with new things. So on that particular perspective, so how we would like to drive the session is, do not do the things during the session. During the session, try to pay attention to the session and pay attention to the session as much as possible. Try to grasp what I'm trying to tell. But later, after the session, you'll get the recording within an hour to you, and you can just go and watch that particular recording out there. Okay, so that is what. Okay, so you can. That is what okay, so is what the best practice I would suggest from my side. Okay, so do watch the session, understand the session. After the session, do the practice. So on that particular expectation, so after this session, by tomorrow, before being onto the session, I expect every one of you to create an Amazon account. Okay, so and after that, I'm going to tell you a process how to connect to the server. So you have to connect to the server as well. So these are the two things I'm expecting from you. Create your Amazon account, create a server inside that, and connect to that server inside that. Okay, so how do we do that? We just see this now, how to create a servers. So there are a lot of services which are there. EC2 is there. Okay, on the left side you have EC2. Okay, let me click on EC2. There are a lot of services. You can go with EC2. Let me delete this. So you should be seeing like this. EC2 dashboard means, so like how I'm seeing right now, you should be seeing the same way. So 0000 everything, only the security group you should see one. But in my case, you'll see one snapshot also. That is fine because I have something there. So that's okay. And everything should be 0 other than the security group is what is expected. Basically, yours is a fresh account, right? So you'll be getting that. Now I want to create an instance here. Okay. So the way of creating the instance, if you try to put it in Google or YouTube, you'll get it in a different way. But my approach is a little bit different way, and we'll use that particular. So for starting easily, I'm just following this way, but later the process will change. Okay, so now I want to launch an instance. So here is a simple documentation which is given. Click on EC2. On the left side you have AMIs. Okay, so left side you have AMIs, and let me go here and click on AMIs. Just click on AMIs. Okay, so and then what you're supposed to do is you will see empty. I have one thing, but you'll see empty. So once you have that, now let me go there and see. So you have to, by default it comes like owned by me. That is what when you see my account, it is giving owned by me, but you have to click on public images. Just click on public images. Okay, click on public images. You'll see a lot actually there. And you have to search for a owner number. So you have a owner search and you have to give this number. So copy this number and go here, and I want to type owner. So here is the owner. Select this and paste this. Okay, paste this number what I have given there and hit enter. You will see an AMI. Okay, so this is what is AMI. We'll talk about that later. Try to understand this as an operating system selection at this point of time. Just try to understand that as operating system selection. All right, so that's fine. And after that, you need to click on select that AMI and click on launch. Okay, I'm going to click on, I selected this. There is only one is going to come up. So you click on launch. All right, you clicked on launch. And so what next? So select T2 micro and proceed, because as I mentioned, so you're going to get free server T2 micro. So this is telling you this is what freestyle eligible. And even you can see my big servers are actually completely grayed out. I am not supposed to create some big servers. You see this big servers are some other model type. I'm not supposed to allow to create them because I haven't asked Amazon to enable them, because I started my account as a free account. So whenever I want any account or any type of a server, I'll go to Amazon and ask, hey Amazon, please enable me to create so some T2 medium of max of 5 instances. Then it will do that. So how to do that, I'll talk about that later, but at this point of time, stick with T2 micro. That is the only free server which is available. Okay, T2 micro. So configure instance details. Configure instance details. So the next thing, you don't need to do anything here. So T2 proceed, T2 micro and proceed. You don't need to change anything over here. So just click on proceed. Okay. So no changes required. Click on add storage, and after that add storage also you don't need to change anything. No changes required. Click on add tags, and nothing also required here. Okay, so just click on configure security group. So until there you have to go. So add storage, no changes. Add tags, no changes. Configure security group. So it is going to come up with a create a new security group. Just stick with that, no issues. And so create a security group. So that is what we want. And finally review and launch. So create a new security group, stick with this, and review and launch, and click on launch. So then what is the option you're going to get there? So finally click on review and launch, and there is an option you need to select, which is select to proceed without pair, without key pair, and click on launch instance. Okay, so just click on no key pairs found, or here proceed without key pair. Okay, I acknowledge this and launch the instance. So the instance is going to get launched. So just click on close automatically. It is on the left side, you have instance option. Just click on that. It is going to show you the list of instances which are in this region. So Amazon is completely region specific. So the servers which are created on another region, it will not be able to show over here. All right. So the server is actually, the state is actually in pending state. So it will show up automatically in running state just in half a second, or around not half a second, half a minute, or even within a minute you will get that particular server. In the meanwhile, let's proceed the documentation. So then use the public IP of the server, then connect with PuTTY. Okay, so you need to download a utility called as PuTTY. Okay, so how can I download a utility called as PuTTY? It's simple, right? It's a utility. So just go for so PuTTY download. So I think in the documentation, actually, I further proceeded with some other tools. You can ignore this particular tool, Git bash, you can ignore. And yeah, so this is fine. This is for the next level of connecting to the server. We'll come back to this. But apart from that, it's simple trying to connect with PuTTY. Okay, so just go with the PuTTY, and here is a PuTTY. So just click on this, download latest version. I would select whether based on your operating system it is 32-bit or 64-bit. I think most of your operating system is 64-bit nowadays. So if yours is 32-bit, you have to choose 32-bit. But mine is a 64-bit. I'll choose 64-bit. Okay, I have my utility downloaded, so I will open that. Next, 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 and finish. So no need to change anything, just click on next, 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 next. You should be able to there. So it didn't came on the desktop, so probably on the start button you'll be finding out. So here you got it. So or else you can search PuTTY, right? PuTTY desktop app. So this is the one. So this utility you can just, okay, so give your IP address and then username and password. It allows you to take into the server. Okay, so what is I'm telling you, try to tell in the documentation following with that. So here try to connect with the PuTTY. Okay, so then use public IP of the server and connect with UT and connect with PuTTY. Use the following credentials. What is the username? Username is root. What is the password? DevOps321. All right, let's see how to get the public IP of the server. Just click on this. So you see this public IP. So 3.14.10. This one. Yeah, you have to copy this. There is a so clipboard button. If you just click on that, you will get it copied. Click on this. So I want to paste it. So paste it. So just click on open. And yes, okay, it asks for the username. So it shows a dialog yes or no. Always press yes. And so what is the username? Root. Enter. Is the password? DevOps321. So for you, this font is very small, right? So if you want to increase the font also, you can increase that. So right click and you can have change settings, and you have an appearance button. So change the font size or whatever you're looking for. So let's say 18 I want to keep, and just click on OK. So you're going to get 18 font. So bigger font. So for you to visible, if you want, you can change font type and font everything. Okay. So this is your Linux box, and this is what you need to do by tomorrow session. So you need to create your own server, create your Amazon account. You need to create your server. You need to connect to the server. So every process is completely given in the documentation which I have given. Okay, so far that is what you need to do for tomorrow. But before proceeding, any questions from anyone on this? And one more thing would come into picture before I'll ask anyone. Let me tell you one more point. So some people would ask me, okay, hey Raghu, I'm using Mac, what I should supposed to do? So it is as simple as that. Okay, so you're supposed to use an inbuilt terminal. You have an terminal which is available inside your Mac OS. So you just use that. Let me open my terminal. Where is it? Hey, where is my terminal? Yeah. So this is going to be your terminal, and here you just need to give SSH, and you give that, and also you have to give username, right? So root at the rate, you give that, and it asks for yes or no, and it asks for just type yes, and as well as it asks for the password, just type password, and it will be taken to you, taken to you to the session automatically. Okay, so this is how you get it. All right, so this is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, any questions? So I see a couple of questions in the chat, which is, will the IP be same all the time? The answer is no. If you stop the server and you start back the server, you're going to get a new IP, and you have to take the new IP all the time, and you have to connect to that. Yeah. So how did you set the root password, root account? So later we can understand that in the Linux basics. Yeah. So any questions?
This is Krishna.
Yeah, go
Hello.
ahead.
Hey, Raghu. Yeah, so talking about the disaster recovery. So let's say like I have created my server somewhere in the Ohio. So unfortunately, like if some hurricane or tornado hit this server location data center, so is Amazon going to create a shadow or like any storage location in a different place, or I will be losing my entire server?
Yeah, the server wise you will be losing, but you have to follow the standards of Amazon again. So which would be talking about a little bit later in, so during Terraform setup, we'll design an architecture. So that time we'll talk about, your question, basically what is your concern
Okay.
will be addressed out there. Yeah, you have to do a workarounds. What Amazon tells you, you have to do that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hey Krishna, this is Mahesh. The root is the username and password you just gave as DevOps 321, right? Is that a
Right.
customized password or is it a
Yeah,
default password when you create a new?
Customized for you to practice. Okay, for initial days, I'm just following this method, and we have to use the same thing. Yeah.
So what if I create a new instance? So what is the default username and password? Root and root?
This is all customized. There is no default passwords. It all depends upon the image. As you are using my image, in my image, I set up my password, and I am giving my password so that you're just able to do that as well. Okay,
Thanks.
so later we'll try to talk about how do we customize the images, and we do that. So that time you'll understand that. But for beginners, okay, so don't want to create keys complex. What is key? Which key? So I tried all the ways. It's all complex. So streamed out into username and password for initial days. we'll use username and password. But once I think by the topic Ansible comes into picture, we'll switch from passwords to keys. Okay, that's how it goes.
Raghu, Alok here.
Yeah.
Raghu, after this class, will you send this documents, that's a PDF you have shared right now, and the links, so that it will be benefit to us?
Yeah, the link will be shared as well. And I already kept in the chat. You can just keep it right away. You don't need to wait for. Someone is talking again. Quraishi. I don't know how to.
Question I have, Raghu. Yeah. Vajat here. Now just you create an instance, right? So do we keep this running if once we create the free tier account, or I have to close it today by end of the class and then start another one tomorrow?
Yeah.
Class?
So as I mentioned, if you are using, keep it running. Otherwise, get it stopped. And one more thing, what's going to happen with this particular server as you are using my image is, it will automatically monitor in the server itself. I am doing some monitoring, and if the server is not being, if I see the server is not active for 1 hour, I will shut it down automatically.
Okay, that means tomorrow's class we'll have a new server created. We should create all new servers every class, or I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, it's up to you. See, whether you want to use the same server, you just keep it, stop it, and start it again. Or if you, if you don't want it, remove this today and create it once again tomorrow. It's up to you. If you feel like, if you don't have any data, clean it up. It's okay. So if you feel that, so if you have some data, so then keep it up and use it in tomorrow's session. As simple as that.
Okay, so if I stop it, can I start it again tomorrow, or I have to restart? Create a new.
You can.
Okay.
So
can we start? Okay.
Yeah. It's as simple as start and stop. So you can just see here instance state, right click on the instance, you see stop, you stop it. And whenever you want to start it, you can just start it. Yeah.
Okay. So you stop and terminate are two different things, right? Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Raghu. This is Muni. What is the purpose of using your images here?
So to make life easier. So otherwise you have to set up keys. What is that key? You don't know the key at this point of time. Confusion. Avoid the confusion. So forget about Amazon. Let's say if you create a own VM inside your local machine, you connect with the username and password only. It's the basic fundamental authentication which is available on Linux.
Okay.
And we're just using that.
So
because Amazon does a lot of automation, you don't understand that automation basically. Okay. So you're just uploading the key somewhere and server you're able to connect, but how is it happening? You don't know all those things at this point of time, makes you confused. Just to avoid the confusion, so to any server, we usually connect with the username and password. We're just following that approach.
Okay. So using your image, maybe a little confusion now. So maybe you can sort that out later. So is that like gonna charge my account, or like it is gonna charge your account?
No. So I open this image as public, so that's where I'll not get any revenue out of it. Okay. So if I make this particular image as a paid image, so then you are going to get charged. So for an example, so if you just try to launch an instance, something, just click on this. And now let's say if I want to go for a marketplace, and let's say if you want to use some software, something like Nexus or Sonatype, something, so there is a tool inside our syllabus. Sonatype is not coming. Okay, I'll just use Ansible, try to find out some image. So Chef automate something. Okay, Chef, whatever it is. So Chef, if I just try to go for this select, and I'm going to get billing. So how much it is getting billed is, so it is a 0.016 per hour you have to pay software, and plus you have to pay per server also. Okay, but if you choose some basic images, I made this image, I made my own image by using some CentOS image. So CentOS, if you try to type, just select using this image, I made that particular image. And so over here, so you see this for the software, it is empty, it is 000. Okay, because the CentOS guy also is not allowing you, is not giving you any charges, it's free of cost. Okay, like the same way I kept my image also just it's open image. So Amazon offers two types of images. One is paid image, which is marketplace, and another one is community image. I put it in community. It is for free of cost for you. No cost comes to you on the software level, only the hardware.
Okay.
Yeah. Any cloud works on the same way. Not only this, any cloud. So to show you, let's say Google Cloud, I have some Google Cloud ready here open. So let me click on create an instance. So we just go with here, and I want to choose a server. This server is costing me some $25 per monthly estimate. Now, what is the image it is having is Debian. Okay, now let's say if I go on choose CentOS 7, okay, I'll come to this CentOS 7 and story a bit now and select it. And now the cost remains same because CentOS is free of cost. But if I just go on to some paid version, something like Red Hat 7, so just click on save. So automatically your cost is becoming from $24 to $68 because it is giving plus software. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
So are you? I just saw the GitLab also in one of your the week. So are you how you're gonna cover the GitLab? Is it like complete end to end, or just like we are gonna leverage the GitLab as a source code repository tool?
No, we'll install the GitLab as well in our environment. We'll try to go and create some users branches, things like that. We'll try to see.
You mean you're gonna install the GitLab?
Yeah, we'll install the GitLab.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
Anyone? Any other questions?
So with this knowledge, right? So with the AWS, I think you're covering a lot of topics in it. So for the certification, if someone is preparing for the certification, so how much do you think that this information or this training is going to help them for the certification?
Yeah, so certification is a different approach actually of delivering the course. It's completely theoretical based approach. Okay, Amazon certification is an objective based exam. Okay, so that's how you have to go around a lot of theory, but we go around a lot of practical knowledge than theory. So once you have some practical knowledge, going back and reading the theory gives you almost an understanding of what you have done and what it is, and some more information you'll be grabbing up. Okay, for certification, knowledge is fine, but you have to read a lot actually. It's because it is theory based, and you'll find a lot of dumps actually even. Okay, so if you want to do that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? So hoping no questions. So proceeding further. So you created a server, but which operating system we used? Linux. Okay. What is Linux? So this is a very fundamental basics that most of the people don't know what is Linux. They just know Linux as an operating system, but the answer is 100% wrong if I talk about very precisely, very particularly if I talk about, it's 100% wrong answer. Okay, so then what is the right answer here? Okay, so Linux is an operating system, or Linux is a code which is a part of operating system, but it is not an operating system. Where the story has started. So we need to talk about little background. So like where the server world has started, if you put mainframe aside, so generally, so the main server side operating systems has been started with Unix operating system. Okay, so it started with Unix. Okay, so in Unix, it's going to be it's going to be a packed component. So which is your OS is going to come and your hardware will be shipped together. Your OS plus hardware shipped together as well as or individually if you do also, those are dependent on each other. Okay, that means, so there are different vendors of Unix. Okay, so you have HP has their own Unix, HP UX. Oracle has a Sun OS from Sun Microsystems. Okay, so Sun OS, or IBM has AX. So there are these are three different vendors majorly known. Okay, before to that you have some more, and after that couple, but major enterprise market has been grabbed by these gears. These guys, so a decade back I can say. Okay, so now this operating system, and is going to work in their native hardware. HP will work only on HP hardware. Sun OS will work on only on Oracle hardware, and AX will work on only on IBM hardware. You cannot install IBM hardware on HP or something else. Now, my best example is Mac OS. Okay, my Mac OS actually, if you have Android mobile, you can remove your Android OS and you can install Windows also. I'm not sure any one of you know that, but you can install your Windows, or if you root your if you root your mobile, and basically you can, if you install custom ROM, basically you can install a Windows operating system in your Android mobile, but with your iPhone you cannot install anything. It has to be iOS. Same way my Mac OS or Mac machine, whatever I have here, MacBook. So this MacBook can run only Mac OS. I cannot install and run Windows. Okay, so even though you're seeing some Windows actually here, so which is a remote desktop, which is a server somewhere, but just to demonstrate, Windows is easier because most of you users are Windows guys. I just demonstrated in Windows, as simple as that. So apart from that, you cannot run any Windows inside this hardware. So that is Unix. Unix means software and hardware together, binded. Okay, so that's how you get ultimately used to get a lot of performance out there, because hardware manufacturer is the same guy and the OS manufacturer is the same guy. He know what is what in and out, and that's how Unix was so famous, and it was so stable operating system. So we see in situations, so where the server was not even rebooted 4 or 5 years also. Okay, it still runs, just runs. That's like that. Okay, such stable Unix was. Okay, but this was a problem actually. This problem has been arised back in 1980s, late 1980s, or close to 1990s, you can say, but late 1980s. So a struggle has been started in the market that, so Unix is there, Unix is commercial, and and Unix is a commercial product. It's not free of cost, and so the university students, basically it was just software industries just evolving, and so the universities also started teaching the software related courses, and people started facing struggle because they don't have enough lab to practice. Okay, because Unix is costly, even small universities cannot afford of doing that, or even if you have it, might be, I don't know the situation, but it is a struggle that time. Okay, late 1980s, and that's where people thinking about, so there is already a group already formed, which is called as um, GNU. Okay, so GNU is a group which is already formed, which is working for a cause, which is something saying that not Unix, no Unix, or not Unix, what you call it as. So not Unix. So they want to do something which is not Unix. That is what this group of people is trying to do uh, in the in the revolution. And at the same time, so there is another guy who is a student, which is called, his name is Linus Torvalds. Okay, most of you would be familiar. So which changed the face of complete back industry. Okay, so Linus Torvalds, and this guy has he's also a student. So then he also thought like doing something else. So then what he want to do is, so he wanted to break this layer. So what Unix is having is OS plus hardware. So we want to have OS, and OS has to run on hardware. That's fine, but why dependency? Break the dependency. So that is what he was working on. Okay, and so he finally succeeded, and that's where this layer has been evolved, which is now called as Linux, or we also call it as kernel. Okay, so Linux or kernel, both are same. So which is going to be a piece of code which drives the so software and hardware. Now this piece of code is everywhere. You take your Android mobile, it's Linux. It's driven by Linux, and you take desktops, it is running by Linux. You take servers, it is running by. You take storages, it is running. You take backup devices, you take network devices, what not. Everything is running on Linux. Most of your IoT goes with goes with Raspberries majorly, right? Raspberry Pis, and that runs with Linux. Okay, so yeah, what not. Everything is Linux today. If you see, everything is Linux. Okay, so that's how Linux has been evolved. And Linux is not an operating system, as I'm telling you. Linux is a piece of code which drives the hardware and deliver take the instructions from OS and drives the hardware. It can drive any hardware, doesn't matter. Okay, so that is where Linux came into picture. And once after Linux came into picture, so a lot of groups came into picture. So this Linus Torvalds came into, came and joined in GNU, or started working with, GNU, and the Linux now what Linus Torvalds still releases is GNU Linux. So software industry biggest project is Linux only. Software industries, complete software industry, biggest project is Linux kernel. Kernel project is the biggest project so far, according to the statistics of I think 2014-15, I believe, in Wikipedia. So far, 12,000 developers. 12,000 developers contributed to Linux. It is not small number. 12,000 developers. Come on. Okay, so that big project it is. Okay, and it is still maintained by Linus Torvalds. Okay, so has contributed so far, and it is the biggest project so far ever known to the industry. And so yeah, so this Linux which is offered is GNU Linux, and so there are companies which adopts this particular Linux and build an operating system. So who takes major is in the Linux? The key players is Ubuntu. So Debian guys takes this particular Linux, and they're going to put some softwares along with that and going to make an operating system. Okay, so which is called as Ubuntu. Okay, and after that the same will be used by so SUSE. SUSE is most used by SAP based or SAP tool, most preferably tell SUSE, and even Middle East some people most like SUSE is what known. SUSE is also enterprise operating system, and Red Hat, final one. So Red Hat. So these three guys are the major players in Red Hat enterprise operating system. Ubuntu has not only desktop, they have server operating system. Ubuntu server is there, and SUSE servers are there, server operating system, and finally Red Hat is completely enterprise operating system. So they don't give any desktop operating system, it's completely enterprise. So these are the three vendors actually which are going to give you an operating system. What they does, takes this Linux is a freeware and open source, and they take these and so customize as per their requirement to their operating system, and are going to release an operating systems to the market. And out of these, Ubuntu is for free of cost, but these two guys are not free. These two guys are not free. So then we have to pay to use that. So you have seen that I selected CentOS, it was giving me no cost, but if I selected Red Hat, it showed me so $68. So $24 plus 68, I think almost like $50 additionally you're getting for Red Hat only to use Red Hat. Okay, because Red Hat is not free of cost. Red Hat subscription is costly. Okay, or even SUSE is also much costly. If you try to select SUSE in the same Google Cloud I have given, so it shows you some $120. It is even more costly than Red Hat. Okay, but whatever it is not free of cost. But which one is widely used in the market? Without no doubt, you can say that Red Hat family is what widely used in the market. I'm not telling Red Hat family. Okay, so what is this Red Hat family? How it is different with Red Hat? Red Hat is a part of open source, but there is a terms and conditions we have to understand basically whenever you start using any product. Okay, so we don't usually do that, EULA, we just accept it and proceed, but that's really shows what it is. So now Red Hat EULA, end user license agreement, tells you that Red Hat is not free of cost. Red Hat is not free of cost for enterprise, but whereas it is allowed to customize the code and use it. So what it means is Red Hat is an open source, so that means the code is completely open. Anyone can download the open code, but they should not directly use the code. They have to customize that code and they can use it. Okay, so that is what the Red Hat clause is actually tells you in the license agreement. So there are people who takes the Red Hat copy regularly. So which is CentOS is the one guy. So CentOS is a organization. It's not any company. So it's an organization, CentOS, and Oracle as a company who does that. So they take the Red Hat copy, and so Amazon also has their own Linux, which is copy of Red Hat. And even there is a couple of people like Scientific, so even some other which is not needed. But these three guys are major players again. Okay, take the copy of Red Hat, and CentOS actually take the copy of Red Hat and customize that what needs to be customized, and they release it as free. Okay, if you go to Amazon Linux is free, but Oracle is not. It is going to distribute with some cost, but with a very minimal cost. Okay, and the fun part is so that Oracle copies the code from Red Hat, and they says that Oracle Linux is better than Red Hat Linux. Okay, even though it's a copy, they says that Oracle Linux, it's a marketing strategies. Okay, by the way, so finally you're going to get so CentOS, Oracle, and Amazon. And out of this, if you look for Red Hat family, Red Hat, CentOS, Oracle, and Amazon, and all this family which is widely used is CentOS, because it is free and it is a community based. Okay, so no revenue, and but still widely used in the market is CentOS. But that that is 100% same commands wise, 100% same, other than some commercial commands about reaching to Red Hat for about subscription and all. Those commands will be changed. Apart from that, CentOS and Red Hat is 100% clone, no difference. If you learn one thing, it is as simple as another thing, and you get so open source softwares in a better one in through CentOS directly. Okay, rather than going to Red Hat and finding out the open source software, so going to CentOS and finding it is much easier. Okay, in terms of installing the packages. So that's where the reason which we choose the CentOS is it is widely used in the market, one thing, and the second thing is it supports much or it has open source softwares which comes easily. Okay, and that's where we choose an CentOS. Okay, but there are different CentOS versions which are available. So which ultimately backs to Red Hat versions. Red Hat 6, Red Hat 7, and Red Hat 8 is available currently. Red Hat 8 just came alive a few months back only, but Red Hat 7 and 6 is major versions which you have. But if you look for the product, wiki.centos.org, if I try to take you, so here, yeah. Now CentOS 7 is available, 6 is available, but 8 is not available yet because they have to do the copy and do the modifications, and they have to take care, right? So it might take time. So that's where you have 7 and 6 available. Now which one to choose, 6 or 7? So which one to choose? 6 is actually getting to end of life by 30th November 2020. 30th November 2020, the CentOS 6 is going to no more get any more updates, and that means Red Hat is also stopping in the backend. It has also committed to the end date, and that's where CentOS is also committing the same thing. Whereas CentOS 7 is the latest current version which is going on. We're going to use CentOS 7, and the operating system which we have over here, okay, is CentOS 7. CentOS 7. So Linux is all about commands, which we talk about that in tomorrow's session. But as of now, so if I just give this command, it tells me that I'm using Red Hat CentOS 7.6. 7.6 is the latest version, which is from their wiki page. It is telling you, right? 7 is the major version, 6 is the minor release, and yeah, you have 7.6, which is the latest version only you're using. And this is the story of okay, which Linux to use. The Linux which we are supposed to use is, or which we are going to use is CentOS 7 operating system for our complete course. No Ubuntu, no CentOS 6, or no other Linux. It's completely CentOS 7 because it is widely used in the market. If you go to internet and type in internet saying that so which one is used widely, then a simple answer you are going to get is most of the people would say is Red Hat or CentOS something, and which leads to the same thing all the time. All right, any questions on this so far?
So Raghu, maybe it's a basic question. So you said that the Linux, some are paid and some are like Red Hat is paid and CentOS is free. So what is like the major differences with respect to we see with paid and the free ones?
paid, you'll get a support. Free, you'll not get a support. As simple as.
So from those capabilities or from the way it works, it remains same.
What is that? Sorry.
No, I mean to say, like, if the way it works with the paid, I mean, other than the support.
Yeah.
So whatever we do in the paid, you can do it in the free.
Yeah.
Free.
Obviously.
Okay.
Only the thing changes is support. If you have an issue, if it is a paid one, you'll get a support. And if it is a free, you will not get support. You have to run behind the community. That's all. You'll be having a communities. You have to post your question or the community, and you'll be getting the answer.
Okay. Is CentOS is completely free, or it also have some kind of community support?
Community support you have. Free in the sense it is community support.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anyone? Any other questions? So for the first day's plan, actually, this is what I have. I would be expecting more questions usually. So apart from that, so by tomorrow, every one of you should create your AWS account and create a server like how I have given in the documentation, and connect to the server using a tool called as Putty, or if you are using Mac OS. If anyone is using Mac OS over here, other than Windows, anyone is using anything? Mahesh?
Yeah, I use.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yeah, I use Mac.
Okay, fine. And Muni, you're also using Mac?
Yeah, I use both actually. I have both.
Okay.
Windows.
Okay. So if you are using, Mac, basically you have an inbuilt terminal, which you can use that. Apart from that, yeah. So you can get rid of that tool installation part, and you can use that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So so from tomorrow, so that's all for our plan for today. And tomorrow session, we're going to talk about, so basics of Linux. And again, that also completely, documentation actually kept in here only. So every document is kept here. So from tomorrow, we're just going to, so today we just follow this, just creation of server document, right? It's available by default. And from tomorrow, we're just going to talk about Linux commands. It's giving another URL. I need to fix this. I'll fix this. So here we are going to cover certain starts with basics, and we just start talking about commands. Linux is all about commands. We're going to go with one by one command, and basically, so what is needed for a user to deal with the Linux operating system and some admin commands we're going to use, and we'll proceed from there into a project and from there into automation. This is what the goal. Yeah. Any questions? We have free time. You can.
Yes, sir. So Raghu, so we are sharing the same username and password and your image, right? So are we just using the image, or it's kind of the same mission that we have been shared by?
The answer, so relates something like that. So let's say if you have, Windows 10 ISO with you, and you share with your friend, what is happening basically? You're both are installing the operating system with both those things. So what you're sharing is basically an operating system, right? And probably let's say that's a custom ISO, and I kept my username and password also inside that. Then what happens is you have both username and password also at the same thing comes up.
Got it. Okay.
Raghu, what you're saying is we are using a snapshot of your image, and then that is the reason we are getting the same settings.
Yeah, snapshot.
Yeah, I was confused with the username and password that you gave, so I thought like, or we might be sharing the same workspace as well.
Yeah.
So the answer is no. Then okay.
Yeah.
Raghu, one quick question though. So, do you recommend any AWS, the theory, material?
AWS theory, AWS main document is what I prefer to read if I want to read anything, because they have the complete documentation. Apart from that, if you are really looking for a certification based approach, you're asking in the prospect of certification or knowledge.
Yeah, I mean knowledge and as well as certification, because I wanted to understand, the EC2 service and whatnot, right? The marketplace, etc.
Then directly documentation of Amazon is better. So aws.amazon.com. Let's say if you're
Okay.
looking for, just give the service name, that's fine, /EC2. You will get the complete EC2 documentation here itself. So here you'll find out getting started, and you'll start reading the documentation.
Okay.
So everything
Sounds
is
good.
available here only.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hi, Raghu.
Yes, Jimmy.
Yeah, this Linux commands.pdf, as I try to download and open, it says some error is there. I don't know if that's just me getting that error or not.
You're trying to download this PDF?
Yeah,
It
I
should
just
work.
clicked
I
on.
think it should work. I think you should need to wait until it downloads actually. Otherwise it's open. You can download.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah. Anyone, any other questions?
Yeah, Raghu, Alok here. You have given that lab, the URL, and when I clicked it, it's asking for user and password. So generally username is my username. The password which exactly it's not taking.
I don't think so. Let me open a guest window. So that means I don't have any login. I just pasted that particular URL. It's public only. It doesn't have any username and access. Yeah, it's public. It should not ask any username and password, and it will not.
So do you plan to make it private sometime after the training?
Means?
I mean, I'm just checking here.
No. You're asking on the Git perspective or what? Like
yeah, no, GitLab perspective. I know this is your personal one made it public now. So after the
Yeah, this
training,
is public for only for introduction of the sessions, but the rest of the things will go private only. So
okay,
once after
okay,
we create for a batch, okay, it's batch 39. So
okay,
if I give this URL, you cannot access it. It's only for the people who register for the sessions will get access to here.
got it. Okay.
For a week, it is a little
No, I was just checking whether we need to download now and move it somewhere, or save it for future reference, or it will be like available public
lifetime.
forever.
Yeah, it is available as a private, but it will be access given to you.
Okay.
And it is given lifetime, no issues.
Okay.
Any other questions? Is it final look?
Yeah.
Anyone? Any other questions? No questions. I'll give you back 10 minutes. So we can meet back in tomorrow session, and we'll just continue from there. Okay. So what? Okay. So basically, we start with Linux basics commands, and we'll talk about commands, and we'll move on. Okay. So session is going to be a little bit heavy for you. So probably it's okay. Okay, just get used to that. Don't get demotivated that I'm not understanding that kind of way. Don't get into that approach. You will understand that. It's only a matter of time you practice. That's all. Okay, because Linux is a little bit heavier. I can understand that, but we cannot spend more time around Linux as well. So we'll go a little bit, so command by command, command by command. So that seems little heavy food to digest, but that's okay. You'll get used to that. No issues with just little bit of practice. That's all you need to understand is a simple logic that why I'm using this. That's all. And also you need to, so let's say if I say that, so I want to get some list of files. If I type ls command, okay, you should understand that to get the list of files, it is ls command. It is all command based, as simple as that. And you just need to remember some around 30 commands as much as possible. And apart from that, anything you can go to the internet and you can get it. Okay, so no need to really worry about and keeping. If you ask me, I have almost like 11 years of experience in Linux, and I would say immediately 50 commands. If I struggle, some 70 commands, but not more than that. seriously not more than that. But if I need anything, I can always go to internet. Today internet is available everywhere, right? So we can find it out what is the command and we can get it. Okay, so no issues. We'll start from tomorrow and we'll continue from there. Thank you and good day and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.